All right, so I'm back. This is part 4 of Seed of Your Fathers. We're starting with Ezra, the 9th chapter, and the first verse, going down to verse 4. It says, Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, The people of Israel, and the priests, and the Levites, have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations. That was the sin. They're doing according to those people's abominations. Even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garments and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat astonished. Then were assembled unto me every one that trembled at the words of Yahweh of Israel, at the power of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away, and I sat astonished until the evening sacrifice. So says the prophet Ezra. Here in the message. So if we go back to the book of Deuteronomy, which we'll see that these nations were nations that Israel weren't supposed to join themselves unto. Okay, they weren't supposed to make a covenant with them. They weren't supposed to make any agreement with them. And like in marriages, and by marriage it means like make a covenant with them, and not necessarily saying, oh, you can't have this person as far as a man taking a concubine, but they had to be like in complete subjection to them. They couldn't be like on an equal-ish type footing. They shouldn't be learning the customs of these people. These people should be learning the Israelite customs. But let's go back to the law to get this understanding. So we can actually get the first example from the book of Exodus in the 34th chapter. Okay, let's start at the 11th verse. It says, Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to yourself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves, for thou shalt worship no other power. For Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their powers, to do sacrifice unto their powers. And one call thee, and thou eat of the sacrifice, and thou take of their daughters unto thy daughters, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods. So this is setting up what the problem is, like joining unto these people, making a covenant with them, making these marriages with them. That would set Israel up to commit the actual sin, which would be worshiping another power. That was the problem. That's what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai didn't want to happen. Okay, so let's get Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter. Let's look at the first verse on down. And it says, When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, the 7 Canaanite nations. When Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them, and shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. So no mercy. Verse 3, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Okay, marriages, going into a covenant, making an agreement with their fathers, or being like, hey, I'm going to take on your religion so that I could be with your daughter. No, that's not how that goes. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua didn't want that. Thy daughter shall thou not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son. Okay, For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other powers. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. So this is what happened in the book of Ezra. They took these people on. They made marriages with them. They didn't just take them as like straight concubines and basically ruled over them. No, they literally became one. They learned these people's customs, and we'll get into that. They weren't supposed to do that. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Now this is how you're supposed to deal with them. Okay? So you shall destroy their altars and break down their images, cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. So he's not saying that you can't absolutely not deal with them. He's saying destroy them, utterly destroy them, show them no mercy. And if you do deal with them, this is how you deal with them. You destroy all of their idols. You destroy all of their images and stuff like that. You don't go after them. They come after you. They got to bow down to you. That was the whole point. Okay? And if you read on, it says, For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. And Yahweh thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Okay? Yahweh thy power did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. Okay? So the Israelites were special to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. So let's get Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, and go down to the 10th verse. He says, this is what they were supposed to do whenever they came up to a city and took it. It said, When thou comest nigh into a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. So they're supposed to give them a chance to be like, hey, the Israelites are here. Y'all want this smoke or not? Supposed to give them a chance. And verse 11, And it shall be if they make the answer of peace and open unto thee, they open their gates, let the Israelites come in, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when Yahweh thy power had delivered them into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male with the edge of the sword. So all the males are supposed to be going, because the male is the seed. You're the seed of your father. Without the father, that nation can't continue. That nation is done. It's out of there. But the women and the little ones are the little girls who aren't yet of age, and the cattle, and all that is in the city, even of the spoil itself, shalt thou take unto thyself. Okay, talking about taking booty, taking, the spoils of war and concubinage. Okay, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which Yahweh thy power had given thee. Verse 15, Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations. Okay, and what nations is he talking about? The nations that we just read, the 7 Canaanite nations. That's what he's talking about. Okay, so let's go to verse 16. But of the cities of these people, which Yahweh thy power doeth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. So he wanted them to murk them, straight murking season, because he didn't want them to turn them against him that bad. But thou shalt utterly destroy them, naming the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, as Yahweh thy power had commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after their abominations. So that's what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai didn't want. He didn't want them to be taught the abominations of these nations. That was the thing. He didn't want them worshiping other gods, which they have done unto their gods. So should ye sin against Yahweh, your power. He didn't want them to sin. Okay? And how would they do that? If they merge with these nations, if they made covenants with them, if they agreed to take on these customs, they're supposed to put these nations, they're supposed to utterly destroy them, show no mercy. And if they did take them into concubinage, which wasn't the best idea, because then they're setting themselves up to sin, which you'll see later on when we get back to Ezra. You can also look into Solomon, what happened to Solomon. Solomon had dominion over these people, but he still allowed those women to get to him after a while. Okay? And that was the sin when he came in, when he worshipped other gods, not having these women in concubinage under them. Okay? So, let's move on